And this being put out by Katie Wu of The Athletic in efforts to improve his receiving and framing on pitches below in the zone. Willson Contreras of the St. Louis Cardinals fully adapting the one knee down stance behind the plate. Then she goes into the numbers and what that means. Alex Avila is a former, I was remiss actually, I called him a top 10 right now catcher.
Get that right.
Two-time,
right, okay?
two-time top 10 catcher. So there's Willson Contreras, and he's showing a little bit of the technique and why it matters. And by the way, Alex Avila was number 5 a couple of years ago. She was a top 5 catcher. I think you were just ahead or just behind Buster Posey. I forget at this point. I don't remember.
He used to rake, too.
That's right.
Absolutely.
Just behind Buster Posey back in the day. So you tell me, what is the thing? And I hear this a lot. It gets criticized around the game. A catcher who goes down on one knee. So show me the traditional stance and the one knee stance and what's different.
Well, there's a lot of differences, but I mean, I just wanted to focus on Willson here because obviously he's been, trying to get a little bit better with the framing. He's going down to one knee exclusively. At least that's what he's talked about because he's been kind of doing both a little bit. I just want to go to his first game this spring just to check on. It's not so much about the one knee because the one knee, when you get down on one knee, it helps you get down to get to that lower pitch. But focus in on where the glove's at because I think the glove is the most important thing as we get this rolling. We see he gives the target, but then he's relaxing, and the glove stays down there, and that allows you to work up to the baseball from the ground up and to be able to get under the pitch and around the pitch, depending on what side the pitcher is throwing on, what pitch it is. Same thing when you're going away. He's down on one knee, helps with the lower pitch, but it's when he relaxes his hand and keeps the glove down, allows him to work up. And I just wanted to show on here. So what a lot of catchers will do, because we saw all the guys getting their work in, their receiving, stuff like that. What are they actually working on? When they work on here, what they're trying to do is create barriers, right? Especially on the corners and low. When you're on one knee, you have the ball just off the plate. Typically, you're going to be splitting the corner of the plate. So what it does, you're lower already with one knee, but your glove hand and your glove is what's important here because you're trying to get to the outside portion of the plate. So if I'm on this side and you have a right-hander that's throwing and he's got the sliders, the curveballs, everything breaking this way, or a lefty with the changeup or a two-seamer, you're trying to get to the outside portion of that ball and then you're coming up towards the plate in order to make that look like a strike. Same thing on the other side. When you're coming over here and you're splitting that corner of the plate, here's your outside barrier right here. Now, you have a lefty on the mound with a hard slider, hard curveball, with a right-hander with a good sinker or changeup. When you bring out your glove down, it allows you to work up from where you think is your farthest point as far as being able to get a called strike and then work towards the plate as that pitch is breaking to beat the pitch to it, to get under and underneath the ball and around it to get those called strikes that are just off the plate.
Before you get up now, well, you already got up.
No,
but at your age, I don't want you to hurt yourself. But if I'm the umpire, right? So all this is done so I will give you your favorable call, correct? So why is that better on one knee? Why am I giving you more strikes when you're on one knee?
Well, for the umpire, when you get down on one knee, the umpire typically will use your knees as a gauge. So when you get down on one knee, typically it allows you as the catcher to be able to take that away from him. So where, he is not sure, 100% sure where that bottom zone is. Okay. And then the other thing, too, is a lot of times you'll see, it used to be guys would catch like this, where you're here and you kind of relax this way, and then you're going to the baseball to catch it. Right? So if I'm here in the corner and the pitch is breaking away, and I relax, and I go to the ball to catch it, from the umpire's view, it looks off the plate. Right. If I bring this glove down, as opposed to reaching for it,
and then
come up, right, I'm catching the ball as I'm going towards the plate, and the ball might be off the plate, but the glove looks on the plate, and it all happens in a blink of an eye. So as the umpire has certain visual cues that he has to help him call balls and strikes. Right. If you take those away, you're more likely to get more strikes than balls.
You can get more strikes by coming up and rather than going down. You miss that low strike.
And there's a lot of timing to it. You have to have really soft hands as a catcher. It's an art. It's become an art now, and it takes a lot of practice. That's why you see all these videos of guys in spring training, even during the season, they're in there off the machine. The machine's throwing 100 miles an hour, hard breaking balls to the corners, and that's all they're doing is practicing. Try to get that muscle memory.
How to receive the ball. I mean, maybe just trying to give the umpire a better look, not necessarily trick him, give him a better look and get the strikes that you want.
Right.
To reveal a strike.
Yeah.
not get anything that's on.
Now the whole one knee thing, as far as when it comes to blocking and throwing, well, that's another segment.
All right, and that's not as favorable for it. You're saying
Well,
it's a little harder. You can get to more like this as opposed to down
Look
here.
at this. Yes.
What?
Hey.
You are ready.
Look.
Throw a guy out.
Look.
Like Johnny Bench, put the arm back here.
It is definitely a little more difficult when it comes to blocking and throwing, but there's ways as far as, your fundamentals, as far as where you can position your feet to help you be able to shift from either side to block and also to put yourself in a good position to throw. Some guys have done it really well, but as a catcher, that's where you have to know your body, really well. Can I do this? If not, then you got to go back to a traditional stance.